Welcome to Nerds to Men. I am Brad Reed. It's a little bit different this week. We do have
different.
Yeah, Cameo is super hot now.
What's up? I'm Cameo.
Yeah, it's Nerds to Women this week.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh my.
And we're joined by Buck Berlin, owner and operator of New World Comics.
Hello.
And Stephanie, who does everything she can to make sure that Buck looks awesome.
Yes.
And that he doesn't have a stroke.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, because we're close. We're going to be talking mostly about Comic Cons today.
Yep.
And we're oh so close to New World Comic-Con, which goes on this coming up Saturday, July 28th. In case you're watching it some other time, you're like, ooh, there's a con this weekend. It's July 28th. The Centennial Building at the State Fairgrounds in Oklahoma City.
That's right.
And where are you at, like, in your... it seems like... I've been up at the store for a couple hours now. Seems like this is full-on hustle mode.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's been hustle mode for, what month is it?
Yeah, hustle every day.
Yeah. No, probably the last month or so, it was it's a month out, and we really need to get everything else done.
Yeah. Because you make your own cosplay stuff.
Yeah.
So I know you got some stuff that's special for the Comic-Con.
Yeah, because I didn't have enough going on, I was like, yeah, we'll make Ninja Turtle suits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it the first time you've ever attempted?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Very highly requested superhero school.
Yeah. The minute that we were like, yeah, let's do a superhero school, where we have superheroes.
Right.
The first thing that someone said was, can we do Ninja Turtles? Wasn't that, hey, so you're going to do Batman and Captain America and Spider-Man? It's Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been hearing that for years.
Mm-hmm.
And we had the technology, it looked like, to
we had the technology.
to do, we knew what went into it.
Uh-huh.
And a lot of the stuff involved kind of fell through. So I ended up having to go kind of old school, original, like this is what I know how to make.
Right.
So we're getting the best of what I know how to make, Ninja Turtles.
I mean, they look great.
Oh, yeah, they look
Well,
amazing.
thanks. Yeah, I mean, for those watching, just over my my shoulder here, there's the unpainted shell, there's the unmasked head, and then one of the gloves. So.
Well, we got you covered because a little later in the show we're going to talk about last minute cosplay ideas. So we got some good ones because, like I say, it's coming up, and people maybe like me, they're like for the first time thinking, ooh, that's something I would want to do because I've been to the cons before, but I don't dress up normally. But I think it looks so much fun.
It is, yeah.
Kind of looks like a headache, but looks like a lot of fun.
The one thing that I tell everyone is just plan accordingly. Don't be like me.
Right. That's funny.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about the other con that's been going on, the San Diego Comic-Con.
There's been another con?
Yeah.
That's crazy. I haven't heard anything about this con.
Isn't it nuts? But there's a lot of stuff that I wanted to talk about. There's so much stuff that came out, and we won't get to hardly, we might get a quarter of it.
Well, yeah, and I've been to San Diego several times, and that's the thing is when you go, you spend about a week when you get back finding out what happened while you were there.
Yeah.
All the stuff you missed.
That's funny. I can imagine that's true.
Yeah, because you come back and they're like, so, what was your reaction when they said that this movie was happening? I was like, that movie's happening? Mm-hmm. Since when?
Yeah, I was in line for 3 hours.
Right.
And some of these that we'll talk about, maybe you could call these the highlights and the lowlights. So let's start with the lowlight. I think this is going to be a dud. Godzilla, King of the Monsters.
Oh, we will have words.
Yeah, this is our show now. Sorry.
Buck, you're actually looking forward to this, though. I mean, for real. Like,
yeah.
It got you in the feels, right?
I am such a huge Godzilla nerd.
Yeah.
I own every movie in English and Japanese.
Really?
Yeah. I've got just about all the commercially available like American Godzilla stuff. Like I'm a huge fan. On the front of the store, I commissioned Jerry to do a Godzilla.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And is there a trailer for this?
Yeah, and I had heard that there was going to be like, here's Godzilla, and he's going to have like maybe a monster fight.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it looks like Millie Bobby Brown is going to be one of the like Mothra twins, or just like the girl who can interpret for the Mothra larva. Oh man, I teared up. My jaw was down the whole like when it was over. I looked around and was like, oh, my eyes are watering, and my jaw hurts from being, so dropped. Yeah.
That's funny. I'm looking forward to it. Actually, I'm maybe not as huge into it as you are, but I've always enjoyed the Godzilla movies and the monster movies from the past. What about you, Stephanie?
Oh yeah, and I think there's going to be one of the podcasts we do for New World Comic-Con. We'll have our buddy George come on, and we'll just talk about monsters.
Oh, that's awesome!
Yeah,
he's so excited.
See, I don't get to talk about like monsters and horror movies a lot
because Cameo's horrible.
I know. This might be the new show, guys. This
right here.
Yeah,
dipping into the Comic-Con stuff and the horror. The last year that I went to a Friday the 13th panel,
right?
Where it was meet all the Jasons and the directors and some of the cast and crew, and how those work usually for the bigger panels. You go in one side of the panel room and exit another, and typically the guests will be on whatever side is exiting, and there's usually a partition and all this. There wasn't, and I accidentally ended up on the wrong side of the room. And I ran into Kane Hodder.
Oh, nice.
Who, is famous for playing Jason more than anyone else.
Yeah, yeah.
And I ran, I just, oh my God, you're Kane Hodder. He says, yeah, hey, come on over. Yeah, no one's really here yet, but come talk to me and just don't freak out. I was like, yeah, that's no problem at all. So I'm sitting there talking to him, and then other people start coming up and it's, hey, it's you. Hey, how's it going? And I'm sitting there talking with the entire panel, and it's like I'm just part of them,
right?
And it's this really cool experience.
That is cool.
And then it was time for the panel to start. They're like, oh, dude, hey, it was great meeting you. Make sure that you ask a question during the thing. They're going to give you this big bag of swag.
Right.
We'll sign all of it, for you afterwards. Just Thanks for hanging out and being a cool fan.
That is cool.
Yeah.
We were talking kind of off the air earlier about how sometimes you can get to places backstage and whatnot when you just look like you know what you're doing.
Right.
Oh yeah, that's the key. Is to
not at New World Comic-Con. That won't work.
No.
But.
I mean, good luck finding it backstage.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I'll always look like you know what you're doing.
Yeah, exactly. Let's talk about a couple trailers that came out that people were talking about, maybe a little more than Godzilla, unfortunately.
Listen, I understand.
Yeah. No, I think it's going to be cool. But Shazam, that trailer came out.
Yeah.
What did you think about that? Were you excited?
Oh, I'm very excited about that.
Are you?
We watched the trailer together.
Yeah.
Up here.
So we had mentioned before that, just from the pictures, I was in the camp of, I think it looks good, but I'm still trepidatious just because the writer is the same writer that did Turbo.
Oh yeah,
and like
that's right.
Jack the Giant Slayer and things like that. And
right.
He's kind of a terrible writer, right?
Yeah,
but it looks fun, and that's what the DC universe movies, whatever they're calling it now, needs.
Yeah,
I agree with that. It felt like maybe this is their answer to Ant-Man and the Wasp, where Ant-Man, kind of more of a lighthearted. But I do agree with you that they need something a little more lighthearted because everything's been so even like Wonder Woman. I mean, it wasn't dark and gritty, but it wasn't so much fun.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that it's lighthearted.
Yeah, no. And this one looks like to me it looks like big in the comic book world.
That's appropriate. I mean, it really kind of is. With Captain Marvel, or I guess Shazam now, because there has to be the delineation between the two. It used to be that they were completely different personalities.
Right.
Billy was the little boy and was like, "I better go get Captain Marvel. Hold on, we'll switch places."
Okay.
And Captain Marvel or Shazam would just kind of have his own personality, identity, and go and do things, and then switch back into limbo.
Yeah. Did you ever watch the DC show? What was it called? Powers or?
Oh yeah.
I thought that one was a really good show for it being something that was a comedy and
Oh,
stuff.
I love that show. Yeah.
It was so sad.
I was heartbroken when I heard that it was going away.
Yeah, me too. Because it didn't even end, right? There was a few episodes that we didn't even get, but so Shazam, looking forward to that. And anything that you noticed in the trailer that stood out?
Nothing that was as shocking as like when we saw the first set pics. You could zoom in and you saw the little buttons on his cape were little tigers, and there's a character from the comics, Mr. Talkie Tawny.
Oh yeah,
it's the talking tiger.
Yeah,
and that was really exciting.
Right on. All right, another trailer that has everybody a buzz coming out of San Diego Comic-Con is Aquaman. Now, some people are saying this movie looks awesome. So, some people are saying it's kind of like going back to the comic books.
It's going back to some of the comics.
Yeah. And for me, it's like, it's Aquaman. I don't know. Well,
and you're going to get eaten by a shark for saying that.
Here's the thing. There are some really great Aquaman comics out there. Like just about everything that Peter David wrote. And then the New 52 Jeff Johns Aquaman. That's usually what I recommend to everyone to get into Aquaman. Like just the very first issue, it's him stopping a crime, and it kind of breaks down, here's why Aquaman's important and here's why he's cool. All within 4 or 5 pages.
Right.
This looks like it has none of it. And the CGI looks like it was really awesome from like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
When I got done watching it, I thought, man, this looks like it's made by the same people that made that really racist Egypt movie that didn't have any, black people in it.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, it looks like they got a second chance with Aquaman.
Right.
And then they didn't spring for like a red wig, a proper red wig for Mara.
Yeah. Here's the thing, Jason Momoa, I like him.
Oh, yeah.
But like in Justice League, I just thought he came off a little dry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I Game of Thrones when he's speaking a different language and just, for lack of a better word, looking hot.
Yeah. See,
I liked him there, but for Aquaman, I don't know. I don't know.
He was really good on Game of Thrones, and then he got Conan. And he was pretty bad at Conan.
Right.
Which you don't have to do much to be Conan.
Yeah.
And he screwed up Conan.
Yeah.
So when they were like, all right, so we're going to give him Aquaman, I thought, really?
I mean, he immediately makes Aquaman seem a little more badass. Yeah. But at the same time, I don't know. I just didn't. That movie isn't. I would be more looking forward to like The Flash or something else. To me,
honestly, I'm surprised that they didn't go with like, hey, here's Ryan Gosling.
No kidding.
Right?
Like go the more suave Aquaman.
Yeah.
Like he's super badass, but he's still pretty suave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aquaman's jacked.
And so you weren't very impressed with Manta?
He was the best looking of all of them.
Yeah.
He looks just like he does in superhero school.
Yeah. I mean that's saying something. He looks like the Black Manta that we've made.
Right.
Which we have the budget of $5.
Yeah.
And they have
Maybe it looked like something that kind of came from the TV shows.
Yeah. All the CGI looked like Legends of Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like quality.
Right.
And I have some friends that are like, I think it looks great.
Yeah, I do too.
I
know some people who are really excited about it. So
and I don't want to take that away from because there have been times that there are movies I'm like, I know that I really want to see this thing.
Yeah,
it's probably going to be hot garbage.
Well, it seems like Aquaman was like when I was a kid, I liked Aquaman. And now that I'm older, I'm like, I don't really.
But you don't want like an Aquaman tattoo,
No, not really. But I want the DC movies to do good. So
they should just keep making animated movies because that's the best thing.
It is
for them,
pretty
and that's
good.
what they're so good at.
Well, I don't know. Lately, a lot of their animated ones are just kind of violent for the sake of being violent. Which the last time that it really worked was that Suicide Squad movie.
Yeah. I agree with you because I saw a meme. Somebody said, "Why don't we just take all the animated people that do all the DC and have them write the movies?" And I'm like, I don't know if it would. I don't know. I think it works for the animated movies. I don't know. I could get with that though, based off of the movies and the animated movies, definitely. Yeah. So there's some reboots coming too. Roswell's getting rebooted.
Whoa.
Yeah. Were you a fan of Roswell at all?
No, but I wasn't not a fan of Roswell. I wasn't against it, but it's just kind of wow, what a
What a thing to reboot right now.
What a thing to reboot, which I could think of so many other things to reboot.
True. Well, that's the thing, though. It seems like there's all kinds of reboots happening, and just even recently, Lethal Weapon and just stuff like that. Yeah. And then now Buffy the Vampire is getting rebooted.
Which,
And Joss Whedon's involved.
Good.
Kind of. He's kind of involved. He's not as involved as he was.
Oh, right, right.
But
and it could be just like a courtesy involved.
I mean, technically, the one that everyone loves is the reboot.
Yeah, you're right.
So
it's a reboot of a reboot.
Man.
It worked last time.
But it is, isn't it kind of like we're out of ideas.
I mean,
let's bring back stuff we know people love.
I mean, you could argue that about all this stuff. So.
True.
And there'll be like the spin for like the actress. It'll be like Christy Swanson from like the movie.
Right. We've got Star Wars Clone Wars is coming back.
I am so excited about this. If you haven't seen Clone Wars, so amazing.
Skip half of them, and then because they kept a pretty good pace at first, and then they realized, we've got a hit on our hands. We need to, really parcel this out.
Right.
So, and believe it or not, I quit the episode that the stormtroopers took down Godzilla.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And then Bronson was like, "Oh yeah, the last 3 or 4 episodes, things happened." So I went back and watched those.
Here's what I do: I cheat with Clone Wars and Rebels, and I look at the descriptions of the episodes and see who's going to be on them. And then watch those.
Clone Wars is the absolute best, and what they did with the clone trooper.
Yeah.
You relate to this faceless trooper who you never think about in the movies.
Yeah.
And then you're like, what? There's all these clones and they're living different lives. And
right.
It's so good.
I think I felt like Clone Wars was a little bit more not for I think they're both for kids, but I thought Rebels was a little bit more for kids in a way. But
it wasn't from what I didn't watch it, but I hear that's where Ahsoka got killed.
She did, yeah. So there was stuff like that. Darth Maul shows back up again and all kinds of stuff. But like I say, I cheat. I'll be like, ooh, Ahsoka's in this. Darth Maul's in this one, and go from there. But I'm a cheater. But I am excited. But this one's going to be trying to find you can see my notes. They're tiny. I think it's going to be on one of their networks that they're launching or something. So that's the thing. The DC universe is available for pre-order. And I think these ideas sound really cool because, I'll have different options as far as watching all this stuff that from the Disney or DC. But then again, I cut the cord on cable because it was $120 a month or something.
Oh yeah, I've been living without cable for at least 6 years now.
Yeah.
So my problem wasn't paying that much for cable. My problem was paying for all the stuff that I didn't want.
You didn't need, yeah.
So, I would pay even more to get everything that I want a la carte.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. But to me, by the time you get the, if you want Netflix for this, or you want Hulu for this, or you want DC, you're back to paying $120 a month or something.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. You get a more refined.
That is true.
Buy.
That is true.
And here's the thing: you can cancel your subscription on one of those things, and then come back to it, and all your content is still there.
Oh, really?
Because it's streaming.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, hey, I didn't. To tell you the truth, I watch WWE a lot now, but before I'd grown up watching it, and over times in my life I've watched it. But back in August of last year, I really started watching again because I didn't have cable, and the network was $9 a month.
The WWE network was such a smart idea,
and it's a great value because you get all the pay-per-views, you get everything that they've put on TV between WCW, ECW, WWE.
All of their library.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Back when I had a roommate, pre-marriage and all that, my roommate was big into it, and he would watch the documentaries and little specials. And I was never really big into wrestling or anything, but those were just so fascinating.
They are. They're really good.
Some of them got way too sad, like the Jake the Snake one.
Oh yeah. Oh, I knew you were going to say Jake. That one was sad.
But now Diamond Dallas Page hooked him up.
Oh yeah.
Oh, did he?
Oh yeah.
Thank God.
With the Diamond Dallas Page yoga program?
Yes.
I
totally turned his life around.
Nice.
Yeah, I got maybe 20 minutes in, and he started talking about the things that his stepdad did. I was like, nah, I'm done.
Yeah.
I can't go on. This is too sad.
Yeah.
So
I'm looking forward to these networks.
The one thing with the DCU is they're remastering the shows too.
Yeah.
So like Batman the Animated Series is going to be remastered.
I saw that, and it's also going to be on Blu-ray. So, I mean, those sound cool to me, but I mean, I guess seeing it widescreen would be cool because I've seen,
yeah.
But I didn't know how much the animated would look any different.
Oh, it's going to. What we were watching was from the 90s.
Yeah.
It's going to look completely different.
Well, and it'll be.
I can't even just thinking about the music.
I mean, it'll be interesting
so
to see what they do with some of it because, I got the DVD box set and listened to the commentary on some of the stuff, and they're like, well, there's that little speck that's forever there. There's the dust that was in the room when we shot that cell. Mm-hmm. So are they going to go through and, like, digitally take that out, or will it be a crisper picture of that little speck of dust?
Right.
So, what's going to happen on that?
Sometimes when you watch those movies where they've been remastered or whatever, you're like, ooh.
Well, I don't think they're going to do the Star Wars treatment here. I think it'll be nice remastering.
Okay, so turning our to some comic book news that I noticed coming out of San Diego Comic-Con that stood out to me anyway. The Star Wars are releasing a couple more, like a maxi series. Did you hear about this?
Yeah.
What do we expect from that?
Honestly, with the Star Wars maxi series that they do, everything has been at the very worst good.
Yeah.
Most of them start off amazing, and you wonder why have we gone this long without this story being told. Mm-hmm. But eventually it gets to the point where you wonder when are they going to cap it. So
right. Well, what kind of story? Like, some of the books that I bought recently, these Star Wars books are great.
Yeah.
They're like watching a little movie,
Yeah, well, and some of them are that, and then some of them kind of tell, like, this happened between this scene and this scene.
Yeah.
Or this is what's, some of it's okay, so during this entire story, here's the other side of that. Here are the behind-the-scene things that set up all of these things.
Right.
So it's them setting or telling different stories that either set up or fill in the gaps.
Right.
So
one I'm looking forward to is going to be like a horror comic, Tales from Vader's Castle.
Yeah.
Tell me about Vader's Castle. What do you know?
Everything that I saw in Rogue One. That's what I know.
Yeah.
Well, because they've gone through and said that most of the pre-Disney buying Star Wars stuff doesn't count.
Yeah, that's true.
It's no longer canon. So we don't necessarily know what's in Vader's Castle or what all that's truly about.
Right.
We can speculate, but
I think it's going to be cool. And that it's a horror comic.
Yeah.
It means that Darth Vader's going to be extra vicious, I think.
Well, or,
right?
I mean,
somebody's going to be.
It's that, or he's going to be like Dracula and just be stalking in the shadows.
Yeah.
Oh. That would be so amazing.
Well, yeah, because then he's essentially, Jason Voorhees.
Right.
How do you go undetected?
Yeah.
How do you, how do you do all this?
That is going to be awesome. I can't wait.
Yeah.
Okay, and then last that I know of, there's a couple of different things. I know there's going to be like a Batman and Joker where they team up.
Okay, yeah, the Scott Snyder one where it's the last Batman story, where it's Batman teaming up with a still talking severed Joker head.
Oh wow!
It's set in the
right up your alley.
Post-apocalyptic
that is
future. Yeah,
I love that.
Which, if you haven't read the Scott Snyder Batman, It is second only to the Tom King Batman.
Yeah,
which the Tom King Batman's happening right now, but the Scott Snyder run of Batman.
Or is that the New 52?
Yeah, that's the
I
New
love
52.
those.
Yeah. So it's written by him.
Yeah. Okay.
So, yeah.
I'm down for that.
Yeah.
And then also going back to the New 52, there was the I believe it was the Justice League where Batman asks, "Is it the Mobius chair?"
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. He sits in Metron's chair, the Mobius chair.
Right.
And he gains all knowledge.
Yeah. And he asks him, what did he ask him? What the Joker's name was?
Yeah. He says, what's the true identity of the Joker? And he says, and the chair says, which one? There are three.
Yeah. And so
he's like, what?
in the three Jokers, we're actually going to get to see the three different Jokers, and I guess they interact and stuff.
Right. And it's nice to have the story told now because before like Crisis happened back in like 2006 or 7, whenever that happened, people would pop up from different dimensions, and now I'm guessing that this is a case of 3 or 4 different dimensional Jokers.
Yeah,
coming together. Yeah,
that's gonna be awesome. I heard there's like a little scene where one of them walks up and one of them has like the flowered shirt on, and he goes, "Hey, you got my shirt on," and so I think stuff like that's gonna be totally cool.
Yeah,
but at the same time, I mentioned this on previous Nerds to Men shows. I like the fact that we don't know a lot about the Joker and that he just shows up and it's terrifying.
Well, and,
I feel like if we go too far into it, it's not as scary.
I'm guessing that we're going to have the 3 Jokers, and then the 3 will either be wiped out, or we'll probably have a 4th Joker.
Yeah,
who's more maniacal or whatever they want continuity Joker to be.
Right.
And or we'll have here's Killing Joker. So you have that definitive backstory. Here's like the Jack Napier 89 Batman story.
Right.
There's that, and then here's the mysterious one that they have everything to play with.
Yeah.
I doubt that we're going to get everything defined, or if we do, then we're setting up for another reboot soon.
Gotcha.
Which I don't want. But.
Yeah. Okay, we're kind of moving out of the San Diego Comic-Con, unless there was anything else that came out of the con that you wanted to mention.
Yeah, the Grant Morrison taking over Green Lantern. He's absolutely one of the top comic writers of all time.
Right.
And he is best suited to write really weird stories. But he does best whenever he kind of has an editor reining him in. He's the one who created Damian as the character.
Oh, okay, sure.
Batman had this illegitimate son years ago. No one ever did anything with him. And then Grant Morrison says, "Oh, I know what to do.
Yeah,
I'll do this."
Right.
Yeah,
and it's made for a great story.
Oh,
right,
yeah.
and he's really, really, really good about setting up continuities and streamlining things and setting up other stuff. He's also really good at just making really weird stories.
Yeah.
So, a space cop going through all the weirdness of space, I think is going to be just phenomenal.
Stephanie, anything that came out that you were excited?
Well, not necessarily excited. Buck and I were talking earlier about an article I saw about Bongo Comics. And how they kind of announced that this is going to be it for them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that they're...
What are some of the titles?
like Futurama and Simpsons.
Oh, yeah, okay, sure. I did see that, yeah.
And if anybody, knows me, I have every episode of The Simpsons ever, physically and, in here. I love Futurama. I'm, crazy excited about Matt Groening's new series that's coming out on Netflix, Enchanted.
Yeah, that looks cool.
But I collect the comics.
Right.
And I don't know, it's this uncertainty of what's going to happen with this now, because they're all right, 25 years, we're done now.
Yeah. Why are they closing up shop?
They're not saying, but I'm speculating that it has something to do with the Disney Fox merger. And Disney, with a lot of their properties, will farm out things to IDW.
Yeah,
and Boom.
Yeah, they're okay, so is this going to go to IDW? What's going to happen here?
Right. Or they're just done, because the Simpsons comics don't sell incredibly well. They sell well enough, though.
They sell well enough because I buy them.
Stephanie's keeping them
keeping them in business.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's talk about, because it's summer right now. there's not a lot of new shows out. So I'm getting caught up on some shows I was a little too busy for.
Yes.
Castle Rock comes out this week, though. And so if you're a Stephen King fan, I believe that comes out, what's today, Monday? So Wednesday.
So it's the sequel to Fraggle Rock.
Yes.
It's the darker future.
It could be. I think that they said that there's going to be a little bit of like, a little bit of bleed over from like It or different stuff that Stephen King's written, because it takes place in that universe, but it's not really about any one specific story.
Mm-hmm.
Mark Bernardin, who does the Fat Man on Batman with Kevin Smith, is one of the writers.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it. I've heard mixed reviews about it, to be honest, but I really like Stephen King. So anything that has Stephen King or Stephen King-ish, I want to check
it out.
Yeah, and it's on Hulu, so. I want to check that out. But I just started watching Cloak and Dagger, which I mean, Cameo told me that he liked it, and so.
So did you have any experience with Cloak and Dagger before watching it?
No, I didn't really know anything about them, but I dig it. I like it. Cool. It's I think it's on Freeform originally, and then it's on. And the thing about Freeform,
then it's on Hulu. It shows up on Hulu, right?
Yeah. Is that Freeform is a little bit like some of their other shows, like Grownish, which is a spinoff of Blackish. Their shows are a little bit more grown up. I mean, they're not as safe for TV as like you might see some of the characters like on Cloak and Dagger do drugs or having sex, or whatever. You don't see it, but
Ooh.
yeah. It's not a porno, but it is probably
count
for
Stephanie out.
Yeah. It would probably be for your 16 and ups.
Yeah.
Because it does deal with those kinds of issues.
Right.
It doesn't really glorify it or anything, but these are real kids dealing with real issues, and at the same time, they're dealing with these new powers, these newfound powers. So I enjoy it. Plus, it's set in New Orleans, which nobody told me, and I'm a big fan of New Orleans. I love it.
That was a nice surprise.
Yeah. So I any show. It could be the crappiest show on TV. If it's set in New Orleans, I'll just be like, ooh, I know where that is, or I've seen that, or, I need to go there. So I enjoyed Cloak and Dagger so far. I'm 4 or 5 episodes in. And then I've also started watching The Flash season 4.
Nice.
So it's what The Flash is.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, yeah. There's great references to Game of Thrones, even the Incredible Hulk.
Yep.
Which I thought was weird that they were.
They do a lot of Marvel references.
Yeah, they do. That one stood out to me more than some of the others, though. Maybe I don't know, but it's good. I mean, it's funny.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there's probably I'm 4 episodes into 20. I'm sure Cisco will get mad at Barry, and then Barry will try to, or I don't know. But it's always.
Are you saying that there's a formula to the CW shows?
That's crazy.
Wow.
Is it the same as how Supernatural every season is the same scenario?
Trying to get some hate mail about that.
I liked Supernatural, but which brother's going to die, and which brother's going to save him, and which brother's going to be pissed off? Every season. But anyway, I hear it's getting a little better. So I don't know. But we'll see. I mean, I'm going to watch The Flash because I didn't realize it was already on Netflix. I thought somehow some of the seasons will be on Netflix right as the next season's going to start.
Right. I think they figured out that doesn't really help them ratings-wise.
It probably doesn't.
Yeah. So I think they're realizing, if we give enough lead time, then...
Is Arrow on there now?
I think so, yeah.
I'll probably have to catch up.
Well, and since I watched most of them as they come out.
Yeah.
I don't know when all that hits Netflix, but there's some of the stuff like the show The Good Place. Like I caught up on Hulu, and then when I found out that there was a season 2, I bought it off Amazon, and now I'm primed and ready when it comes back in September.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
But like Arrow and all that, they just kind of show up, and everyone does that's out.
Yeah.
So
yeah, well, I'm happy, but I'm sure are any of those going to be on like the DC?
I'm almost certain of it. Like I mean, unless there's some sort of contract through Netflix or whatever,
right? That could be so.
I could see where DC would want everything that they can get.
Oh, yeah.
True. Any shows that you've been watching, Stephanie, that you'd recommend?
Yeah, we were talking about Glow,
Oh,
which
I
all three of
love
us are watching Glow.
Yeah.
Are you finished with it yet?
Oh, no, not yet.
I'm finished with it. How many episodes do you
I'm
have
done.
left?
Yeah, I binge watched it.
Well, after this weekend,
yeah.
I have time.
Which
Right.
it only has 10 episodes. Because we were talking, we thought it had, 12?
12 or 30.
Yeah,
Which
it has 10.
I don't know how many more I have left.
You're right.
So probably 3 or 4.
I really enjoyed this season. I like Mark Maron a lot.
Yes.
I love his podcast. I'm always singing its praises, the WTF podcast. But I love Mark Maron, and I hated his character throughout this season.
That's how
but
you know it's a good character. He did a good job.
Exactly. So, did you watch Glow back in the day? Did you, Stephanie?
No, I mean afterwards and through documentaries and stuff, but not when it was on.
See, when I was young, we didn't have cable anyway. Like my grandparents and my parents, we didn't have it till I don't know, the late 90s because we were super Southern Baptist. Anyway, so I would watch anything that came on the 25, 34. And Glow, I remember, would be on one of those on the weekends. And I loved it. I mean, I would watch it every weekend. So it's funny kind of watching it and trying to, this was this person back in the day,
yes. Which one thing it's super cool I was telling Brad about. So Welfare Queen is Awesome Kong, a.k.a. Karma. Who's a big, famous, just one of the most famous female wrestlers.
I believe she's in, was it TNA?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had no idea that was her. And I was kind of reading an article this is, their characters on the show and this is what they do in real life. And I'm like, I recognize this name.
Yeah.
Then I'm like, what?
Right.
But,
Interesting.
and when she wrestles, or at least traditionally, she had this really long hair and just really crazy, scary costume. And I was like, wow. How can I not have noticed this?
Buck, do you have any TV shows that people need to be catching up on during the summertime when it's probably the best time to?
Oh, I have another one too.
Okay.
When he's done.
Go ahead because right now with the con going on,
you're barely.
Yeah, I mentioned the Good Place. That's honestly one of the best shows that I've seen in years. But outside of that, I can't really think of anything just because I'm so lacking in time.
Right.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So, DuckTales.
A woo woo?
Ooh. I love DuckTales. Is it the new one?
Yes.
Oh, I started. Okay, so I've seen one episode.
Oh, just buy it all and just watch it all.
What is it on again?
I bought it all through YouTube.
Oh, okay, sure.
It's so good.
Is it?
It's
I want to see it.
Amazing.
I grew up on DuckTales.
Darkwing Duck is in it too.
Oh, dope.
Which that was oh man. But it's so good.
Buck, did you grow up watching DuckTales?
I really didn't.
Yeah.
I would watch it waiting for Batman to come on.
Yeah.
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 But I would catch a few of them and they'd be fun. But I was more Darkwing Duck than anything.
Yeah,
Oh,
Darkwing
totally.
Duck was my jam.
Yeah.
And I'm so excited that they worked it into this.
See, when I grew up, we would spend every day after school in the summers at my grandma's house. And it would be me and my 6 other cousins. And so every day it'd be a fight on who gets to watch what on TV. But DuckTales was the one we could all agree on. It was DuckTales, Animaniacs, stuff like that. Yeah. So that's awesome. I'll have to check out DuckTales. That's a great call.
I can't more highly recommend it. Even to someone who never watched it.
Right.
They'll enjoy it so much.
What's the animation looks a little different, doesn't it?
Yeah, it looks different.
Yeah. I'll check that one out for sure. And if you guys got anything that you're watching over this summer, actually, Orange is the New Black comes out on Netflix this week too. So,
oh man,
if you like that, like I do, you watch that?
Yeah,
yeah. So I'm looking forward to that. But let us know what you're watching this summer so we can, get caught up on all the best shows. What was is it Black Lightning?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen that one yet?
I started the first half of the season, and that's one that I'll be catching up on.
Yeah, I haven't watched too much of it yet.
That's the one. I haven't either, but that's the next one on my list to watch. This is actually a segment we're going to do. If you are going to one of the cons coming up, and especially New World Comic-Con,
this this Saturday, and you're like, you know what? I want to dress up. I want to do the cosplay because I'm looking around the comic shop, and I'm jealous, to be honest. So I had to come up with my own costume, and we came up with some last minute ideas. So Stephanie's holding up what I'm supposed to be.
Yeah, right here.
Which is a California raisin. I heard it through the grapevine. How much longer? Okay. Anyway, so this obviously is a trash bag with some googly eyes and some glasses.
Yeah, I guess there are some people that won't be seeing this because they're just listening.
This probably will just be a video only segment because you got to see what I got.
Yeah, people
on
need
here.
to appreciate this.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So, new profile pic?
Totally. People are probably tuning in like, where's Brad? Where's Cameo? What is this show?
It's our show now.
Yeah.
And Trash Bag Man.
But, yeah. So if you don't see a California raisin here, I guess I could just be a trash bag man. Or I was thinking if you take the glasses off, it could kind of be like the ghost from Pac-Man costume.
Oh, yeah.
But
or just call yourself Nightmare Fuel.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
that works.
Yeah, I bet this would. Because I'm gonna wear this.
I mean, you're one sign away from like free hugs from just terrifying people for life.
I think anything with googly eyes. But see, here's the deal: when you're putting together your costume, you probably ought to do two things: account for how hot it's gonna be.
Yes.
And maybe account for breathability.
Well, and honestly,
I feel like I'm dying here.
Those are the two things that people never think about with their costumes. Is, oh my god, this thing is so incredibly hot.
Right.
Yeah. Like every time that I make a costume for someone, I say, okay, stay hydrated. You're going to sweat. This is going to be hot and awful. They say, what? Why? But you do this all the time.
Yeah.
Just make it not hot and awful. I said, well,
Yeah, because that's an option.
then don't wear a costume.
So New World Comic-Con coming up this Saturday, there's going to be a costume contest.
Yes.
There is.
Where would you rank this costume?
Right now up there because you have no competition that we've seen.
You're doing
So right
really
now
great
I'm in
right
the
now.
running.
Right now you're in the lead.
Nice. And what is the prize?
It's a secret.
Yeah.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Okay,
Dun,
cool.
You
dun,
can't know about
dun.
it.
Yeah, we'll be announcing that later this week.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Okay, so before I pass out and die,
Or like while I pass out and die.
let's talk about some of the ones that we came up with that people could do last second if they wanted to wear a cosplay outfit to Comic-Con on Saturday.
Yes.
Okay. Well,
Stephanie, you got some too.
yeah. Let's hear Stephanie's ideas, and then I'll tell about a few that we just last minute did.
Okay, that sounds great.
All right. I have a bunch of ideas. Dressed in all green. Tell people when to turn left.
Yeah,
What are you? The Green Arrow.
I love it.
That's right. If you want to hang out with another one of your buddies dressed in all red, spin around in circles. What are you? The Red Tornado.
The Red Tornado.
Ooh,
Yeah.
good one. I love it. What about like just any household items that you can use?
So some of these, please don't do these at the con, but raid your silverware drawer.
Right.
You can go plasticware
You could.
for.
Yes. Wolverine.
Yep.
Ooh, I
Last
like
minute
that
Wolverine.
one.
Yep.
Plastic Wolverine.
You need like plastic forks or knives, I guess. And,
Right.
It'd be fun to just use spoons.
And just a pissy attitude.
Yeah. Get out of my way.
Okay.
So, you have absolutely no time at all to get any costume.
Right.
Just stand really, really still.
What are you, Drax?
Yeah.
No one can see you.
That's right.
Good one.
Or you know what? You can just be like, "What? I'm the Invisible Woman."
Oh, I thought you were saying do this and then you're John Cena.
No, the Invisible Woman.
Oh.
Because you can't see her.
Yeah, just stealing some of that. I'd be like, dun, dun, dun,
Fair enough.
What up? I'm the Invisible Woman. Throw him for a loop right there.
Wow. All right. Well, on that note, I have 2 different ones that are the same character.
Okay.
Okay. So the first one, wear all black, tie a bandana around your head. You're Netflix Daredevil.
Whoa.
Okay.
Good one.
And then the next one, you get a pair of sunglasses, and you put them on, and then you go like this, and you're Matt Murdock.
Ooh, I like it.
Yeah.
Tricky.
I like it. All right.
There's
Is that
so many
anything
ideas.
else?
You know?
Honestly, if anyone really wants some last minute stuff, to save on time of paint and things like that, colored duct tape and cardboard are going to be your best friend.
Right.
There's a lot of stuff that you can do pretty well without having any experience, just doing cardboard and duct tape.
That's what superhero school was.
That's what we started
the
off
first
with.
year.
Yeah. So,
And look where we are now.
Yep. Moved up to craft foam.
Yeah, not using
Yeah. No duct tape
as
now.
much duct tape.
Yeah. Well, barely any.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No cardboard.
No cardboard. So, but yeah, that's what we have.
Well,
I'm glad to see you're still alive.
You were dying to get out of that, right?
I really am. I mean, anything for comedy, but the inspiration behind this was when I was young. This was our Halloween costume one year. My grandma made our costumes, and
you were all California raisins.
Yeah. Except I don't remember it being this terrible.
Well, here's the thing. I think that would look amazing on a much smaller person.
Yeah.
And maybe in October.
Yeah.
That's true, too.
When it's not like 100 degrees.
Yeah. Well, this is what I'm wearing Saturday, so.
Well, it's forecast says it's only going to be 90.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, California raisin gods.
You know.
The grapes. All right. Well, I think we'll wrap it up then.
Cool.
New World Comic-Con coming up this Saturday, July 28th, Centennial Building, State Fairgrounds.
10 to 7.
Yeah.
Yep. I'll be there.
Since Buck is the third nerd, I'll let you tell everybody where the shop is and get us out of this podcast.
All right. Yeah. You can find us here in Oklahoma City at 6219 North Meridian, just south of Northwest 63rd Street. For Nerds to Men, I'm Buck Berlin.
I'm Cameo.
And I'm Brad Reed. Have a good one.